Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Kortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Corson Schmidt. Here today, I have two guests joining me, Eric Bridges and David Bregoli. Eric is a passionate automotive appraiser with an entrepreneur with over 15 years of shop ownership before moving into appraisal world. Now, part of the Auto Appraisal Network, Eric combines his love for classic vehicles with technology, even launching a drone service that brings a new level of transparency to the appraisal process. David brings a lifelong automotive experience and a unique perspective from a time race shop worker, tow truck driver, and auto insurance adjuster since moving into appraisals in 2021. David leverages his background in insurance and hands-on shop work to provide detailed insider knowledge to appraisal process at Auto Appraisal Network. It's great to have you on, both of you guys.
Thank you for having us.
No worries. So before we really dive into it, I'll start with Eric and then we'll move into David. Do you guys mind just expanding a little bit more on that background that I just touched on in the introduction there?
Being a former shop owner, since I was old enough to pick up a screwdriver, I was helping my father or other friends or their parents work on cars, so it's just natural that I'm in the automotive world.
Sure.
Having a shop, starting a shop from nothing in my parents' garage, and then expanding out and with a couple of friends and getting a shop and doing race stuff, as David did, but we did more import stuff. My passion is just cars. Anything that has to do with automotive, I'm there with it. Ended up getting out of the automotive world, going back to college at the age of 41 and getting my 2-year degree in process technology, became an operator at a chemical plant. And it was 12-hour shifts. It was 5 in the morning to 5 at night. And then it'd be next week it's 5 at night till 5 in the morning. It just got old quick having to do those 12-hour shifts. And then it was days, then nights, then days, then nights. And you turn on the alarm, you're like, why is the alarm going off? Oh, it's time to go to work. You just don't know which end is up. So I was doing anywhere from like 600 to 800 hours a year of overtime at 12-hour shifts. And it's not just 12 hours. I mean, I would get home at 6 in the morning. I'm in the bed by 6:30. I'm right awake at 9. It's just
crazy.
Horrible. Just horrible. You're awake all the rest of the day, all night long. And then I just told the wife I'm tired of doing it. I was paying sometimes 2 payments a month on a house note, 3 payments a month. The operators, they make great money, but you're out there and your body is paying the toll because you're out there so long.
For sure.
After almost 8 years, I told her I'm done, paid everything off. I don't owe anybody anything. All I owe is monthly bills like groceries and, monthly electricity bills like that. And that's it. So I just told her I'm going to do something else. I started talking to a guy who also works with us. He's in North Houston. I do all the South Houston stuff. And found out he wasn't going to be doing it much longer. So I said, why not? So here I am.
Your foot in the door. Nice. There you go.
The wife told me, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
The wife told me, you're good at playing games and stuff online, and why don't you get a drone? So she got me a drone a few years ago. Just a cheap one, just to play with it and stuff. And you're going to crash. If it goes in the air, it's going to come down. You crashed it 4 or 5 times, and well, this one is okay, but it's not something you can make money with. So I went and got a DJI one.
Nice.
A $300 one or a $2,000 one. They make a huge difference in how they control and how they fly. And so now I started flying drones. I got my Part 107 FAA certified. So I'm certified to fly drones, and I've started doing that. And 2 days from now, I'll need to go to Sicily for 10 days. So looking forward to I haven't had a vacation in probably 4 or 5 years. An actual getaway vacation.
Well, there you go. Usually you got something to look forward to.
Yeah. Usually when you're on vacation, you don't go nowhere. You stay home so you can get stuff done around the house.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you're done with that vacation at home, you're like, man, I'm ready to go back to work so I can relax.
Yeah, literally. It's just a vicious cycle, eh? As soon as you get off holidays.
Exactly.
Going back.
So that's pretty much me. And then I have an opportunity. A friend of mine in Florida has a medical repair place. So he's starting me when I get back. I'll be starting doing the medical repair. I'll go to the hospitals, pick up stuff that needs to be repaired, box it up, ship it to him in Florida.
Nice.
They repair it, send it back to me, and he pays me. I'm like, how much easier can it be? That's me.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll have like 3 part-time jobs, but I can schedule myself on which days I want to go do stuff, just like the auto appraisals. They call, and I'll tell them what days I'm available, what time.
Yeah.
Schedule it and go. Usually, I just joke on, hey, look, I can do it right now. So
For sure.
that's me in a nutshell. I appreciate your time and effort.
Yeah, Dave, if you don't mind kind of giving us your little background on how you kind of got started in the appraisal side of things as well.
So, just a little background on me. Like you said, I got started real early in life, about 8 years old, at a race shop. My dad brought me up to one, and I've always been somebody who's been a tinkerer, or whatever you want to say. You know, I always like the hands-on thing, and I've been around cars my whole life. I'm very intrigued by cars and how they work and how they operate. So I grew up in the racing community. 14 years old, I went and became a junior firefighter and an EMT, and that was kind of part of my career. 2005, I was forced to retire just because of my knees. You know, you do stupid things when you're younger, racing and four-wheelers and all that other stuff, you get hurt. But actually, how I got into the auto and adjuster industry was I think it was 2010. I got hurt driving a truck, and I just kind of did some odd jobs here and there. And at one time, I took a roofing sales job, and while I was up there, I met an adjuster. And I said to this adjuster, I said, man, I've always wanted to figure out how to get into that side of it. I wasn't so sure about the property side of it, and he helped me get my adjuster's license and all this other stuff. And after I got done with all that, I did property for about 6 or 8 months, and I was able to move to the automotive side. And I love the automotive side. Again, I like how things work. I like how things are put together. I love how, mechanical stuff. I like to sit there and figure out, how does this work or how does that work? I love to be able to fabricate stuff and everything like that. And then couple months down the road, I figured out that I kind of like the other side of the insurance side of it. I like to go look at these cars and try to help people out to get all the money that they need to out of the insurance company, as opposed to working for just the insurance companies and saying, nope, this is the last thing we got to do. So that's kind of where my passion is to help people. Again, with being the firefighter and EMT in the background there, I guess it's in my blood to be there to help everybody. So that's of a little quick background on me. There's a lot more to me than that, but like I said, that's how we got it started in this part of the deal.
No, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Do you guys mind just giving the audience a little overview of kind of what you guys do? So you guys will appraise vehicles. Is there anything more that you guys do, like work against insurance companies, work with insurance companies, just do appraisals for classic cars?
So I can pretty much do it all. I can work for the insurance companies. So we have a couple insurance companies that we still work for. They'll call us up and they'll ask us for estimates or anything like that on a vehicle. They'll have us go out and inspect them. We can do appraisals on classic vehicles for insurance or estates, divorces, or anything like that. We also do what's called diminished value. So if we, just an example, so if you were to wreck your vehicle and you turn around and say, well, if it's somebody else's fault, you want to turn around and get some extra money out of that, because you're never going to be able to sell that vehicle for the same price that you bought it for, obviously, and it's always going to have a crash record on it. So we turn around and we take a calculation and we look at the vehicle and say, okay, this is what the diminished value is. And diminished value, again, is just a loss of money that you would lose for selling a vehicle that wasn't involved in a crash. But that's definitely, that's the big one that I do. I do a lot of those, and I do a lot of total loss vehicles. And when I say total loss, you get a person who has totaled their vehicle and the insurance company wants to give them X amount of dollars. And we go in there and we look at everything. I look at all the options. I look at, even going down as far as new tires and even some maintenance records. And I try to get them as much money out of that vehicle as I possibly can. The insurance companies are a business, and they're trying to, make their own profit. And these
For sure.
companies out there, they're recording $2.6 billion worth of profits every year for these insurance companies.
Wow.
And all they're doing is they're just taking from the consumers. They're charging them every month to go out there and cover them, and then when they don't want to pay out. So that's definitely my highlight. And with the adjuster background, I have the versatile knowledge and language that I'm able to go in there and really argue for my clients and my customers.
That's amazing. Yeah. Do you mind explaining just a little bit more of what an auto adjuster is compared to an appraiser?
So the difference between an auto adjuster and an appraiser, and an auto adjuster is basically the one who is on the insurance side, and they go in there and they'll write the estimates. They'll determine how much loss you have, how much coverage you have, and then they'll turn around and they'll write you a letter stating, hey, this is what we feel that your vehicle is worth. And they basically they're your insurance side of that. The appraiser is by definition is basically somebody who can go out and assess the vehicle value of a vehicle. The adjusters, especially in North Carolina, adjusters and appraisers have separate licenses. I still carry both of mine. I carry my adjuster's and my appraiser's license. But in North Carolina, you cannot assess or appraise a vehicle if you do not have an appraiser's license. And the adjusters do not need to have that if they're just on the insurance side. So they just turn around and they'll look at something on a computer and be like, yep, your car is worth this, without actually looking at the vehicle.
For sure. Yeah. Eric, this one's kind of more towards you because I know you just kind of stepped into the appraisal side, but can you walk us through if someone wanted to become an appraiser, what that process looks like?
To become an appraiser, it's you got to find your area and see if there's somebody in your area. And you may have multiple people who are already appraisers in your area, but we had to come in and I had to take a class to get certified through the company. And it was a couple days, 8-hour shifts or 8-hour days. And then I'm certified to go out and appraise vehicles. You got to find somebody to sponsor you. So, I knew of the guy here because he had appraised my vehicle like 20 years ago. So it was just amazing to run back into him again 20 years later, and he's still doing it. Or I think really he's been doing it like 13 years, but it just seemed like it's been a long time. And to find out that he's up in age and health's not doing so well, so we talked about it, and I thought I'd really like to learn how to do that because being your passion. It's not really a job. It's something you love to do. It's not work. And I love seeing old cars. And I mean, we do anything from, like I did a 1942 WC-56. It's an old military vehicle. It's like a commander vehicle. Never even heard of one in my life. The guy called me and I did some research on it. And so when I got there, I was prepared what to look for and where to look for things. And, so when we do this, we totally encapsulate the vehicle. We do a picture from the front. We do a 3/4 shot, which is like part of the front and part of the side, and down the side. So you do that completely around the whole vehicle. Then you take pictures underneath it, and you take pictures inside. I mean, you're trying to encapsulate the vehicle with pictures. So that's why I was trying to bring in my drone. So while I can set the drone up, the drone can follow me as I'm walking. So it can do video. So I can do like a live video of the actual vehicle that I'm appraising at the time and send that to the customer as well.
Yeah, that's
cool. So to answer
really
your question, that's pretty much it. You just got to find somebody who's going to sponsor you. And once you get good enough, you can probably go out on your own and start your own company. I don't think I really want that kind of, what's we're looking for? Responsibilities. Just do my part of it and send it on to the corporate office and let them have the final say so. So David and I don't get the final say so on the appraisal price.
Okay.
We go out, we'll do all of our photos and get all of our documentation together, and then we can find comparables or compatible vehicles that are similar to it and send all that in. But usually the corporate office will do all that, and they'll give the final say so on the vehicle price, the final appraisal price. Sometimes I'll call them and tell them, look, this vehicle is really clean. I mean, real clean. Like I did a couple of them about 4 weeks ago. I did a compilation. I did 4 vehicles at one time for this customer, and he wants me to come back, and he was so impressed with how in depth our appraisals are. I mean, the smallest one I've done was probably 26 pages long. On one of his cars, it was a 69 Plymouth GTX. I've never seen one in my life. I'm 54 years old.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in person. I mean, I've seen pictures of them and videos of them. This car was so clean, I wouldn't have a problem eating underneath, off the floor. I had like $115,000 in receipts. I took pictures of all that and
Wow.
all that. But that doesn't mean nothing. What it means is, what will somebody else pay for that vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. You can appraise it at $1 million, but is somebody going to pay you $1 million for that car? That's where it comes into. So when they go out and find comparables or compatibles, they have to find something that's compatible to the one I'm submitting. And, the customer was a little upset, but in the real world, you may think it's worth $125,000, but it's only worth like 81. I think it's 181,200.
Wow.
So it's all in what somebody else will pay you for it. Kind of like, what is it? Commodity. I have it, you want it, what is it worth?
Yeah. No, do you mind taking us through that appraisal process with you guys, just so we have an idea on
Absolutely.
kind of what that process looks like?
Go ahead, Dave, you can take it.
So as Eric said earlier, we turn around and we go out and we physically look at your vehicle. And
Yeah.
we do that just for a couple reasons. So we can tell you the condition of it, and we can tell you, again, which options you have. You might have a vehicle that you have no idea what somebody's options are. That's the easy part, is to going out and doing that stuff.
That's right.
I do a little bit more research on some of the vehicles than some other guys do. I can't speak for Eric, but like I'll get home and if you have a BMW, I might call BMW and have BMW send me over the actual option list for the vehicle. That way I can make sure that I look at all the options, be like, hey, I didn't even know this had a heated steering wheel or something like that. Then what I'll do is I will turn around and I'll upload my photos and go through them, and I will literally sit here. I take anywhere between probably 100 and 150 photos of every vehicle we look at. And I'll turn around and I will look at every single vehicle, and I will be like, okay, this has got these tires on it. This has got, the exact size tires on it. It just has, these wheels. If I can't find those wheels, I will turn around and I'll look up the wheels online, and just everything that it is pertinent to that vehicle. That way I make sure I get every single option, everything correct for that vehicle. Then what I do is I do my report. Then I can do my report. As far as my report goes, my report takes probably anywhere from 20 to 35 minutes. Just so I can go through, and it's very oriented when it comes to, it's all like a Windows base, so you can kind of click and just have drop down boxes and stuff like that. And then what we do is we send it off. So that's actually the appraisal process. When I get my appraisers back, I'll turn around and I will call my customer and I'll ask them. I'm like, okay, this is what we have, because they get a soft copy of it in the email, and then what we'll do is we'll go over the report, page for page. And like Eric said, sometimes our reports are anywhere between 25 to 35 pages long. And they might be like, oh no, I didn't think that the carpets were in very good condition. I thought they were in excellent condition. And sometimes you have to explain it to them. Hey, you had this here, or you had some wear or something like that. And they're like, oh, I didn't see that. But again, that's where kind of our pictures go to back it up. And then our company does is, when everything is said and done, and everybody's all clear, they get a nice spiral bound book that they are able to, if you have a classic car or anything like that, you're able to bring that to car shows and be able to display it for your gratification. And it's a very nice quality book. It's quality paper and everything. It's not like some of these other appraisers out there that give you 1 and 2 page books.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my dad got a couple of his cars appraised local in Ontario here, and he never got anything in return. They gave him the price. This is what it's worth. He never got any book in return or nothing. And that.
Well, look
that's
us
what sets us aside from these other companies out there. Is our attention to detail, and like I said, the fact that I'm always on my phone. I shut my phone off at night, but I mean, I've answered my phone on Saturdays. I've answered my phone on Sundays. I'm always accessible, and my customers know that if they need to ask me a question, especially about insurance stuff, they can call me pretty much any time.
For sure.
A little bit of that before that course, and so we do anything from fire engines, fire trucks. We do bikes, motorcycles, anything that has a VIN number, we can do it.
We've done boats.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep. We do anything up to 2025, 2026. As soon as the 26 come out, we can start doing them.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's an old car, brand new. If it has a VIN number, we can do it. And
even if it doesn't, I did a 1903 Cadillac Runabout that was involved. The guy bought it from out of New York, transported it home in a brand new trailer. I don't think the guy had ever used a trailer. I'm not trying to be mean, but he strapped them down completely wrong, and it broke free, and it damaged the heck out of these 1903s. Now, again, when I say I go above and beyond, I went as far as calling the Cadillac Museum about these vehicles, and we turned around, we did a lot of research on them, and then I was able to find him 3 repair facilities that would actually work on those vehicles. And so that's where I feel that I can stand out with my business more than some of these other guys, because like I said, some of these other guys, they just show up, they take your pictures if they even show up, and then they just give you a price. And that's where I feel that Auto Appraisers Network will stand out a lot more. I feel the whole company goes above and beyond a lot more than a lot of these other guys do.
I've got a couple other friends that are appraisers, and when I call them, they go, "Yeah, I did 4 of them today." Well, how many pictures did you take? Oh, they send me pictures. Did you even leave the house?
Yeah.
No. And I'm like, well, how do you know what you're looking at? Oh, they send me pictures. So I said, well, send me one of your report. It was a 1-page report. It had 2 pictures in the black and white. All of ours are in color, and it's not like it's a piece of, it's printer paper. So I mean, it's high gloss pictures and stuff. Dave's trying to grab some. I was going to grab some, but mine's in the other room. But no, they're pretty in depth. I mean, that one I did on that GTX, I think it was 47 pages long.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's just having photos, right? Just to have proof of how clean the vehicle is.
Well, I mean, we do the trunk, we do the engine. And when I say the engine, I mean, we take the left side, we take the front of it, I take a 3/4 shot, right side. I get underneath them as best as I can so I can get pictures from underneath the car. I mean, my wife's like, well, how'd you get your shirt dirty? Oh, it's on the ground.
You're doing your job.
So I went and actually have one of my books right here. I don't know if you can really see it, but this is what our books look like, and I mean, they are 26 pages of books. I mean, you get full color.
That's cool.
Pictures
really
and
cool.
everything, it's just, and then it's just, like I said, that is what sets us off between everybody else. And that's actually my car. I didn't realize I had that one. I grabbed that one real quick. But yeah, that is what sets us, Auto Appraisers Network, different than everybody else. And like Eric said, we come home dirty. We don't just sit in our houses and play with our kids or our dogs all day long. We actually get out in the field and we do stuff. And I think that makes the customer feel all better and warm and fuzzy when we show up.
Definitely.
A little bit more to what Dave was saying. Before I submit my paperwork, I'll call my customer and I'll tell her, look, I'm submitting these pictures, and I'll send them sometimes I'll send them a copy of the pictures I'm actually submitting. Some of the pictures we may not submit, it may not be clear, or sometimes I'll put my finger on something like on the actual picture on the hey, to remind me, hey, look, put this in the report, or hey, this piece right here is bent, or hey, this over here is not just perfect. So it's kind of a reminder for me, so I don't send those pictures. I don't submit those pictures in my report. But, it's a little reminder for me that, hey, look, this is not just perfect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes
sure,
you have
yeah.
to point that out. I mean, these guys, especially like the classic cars and stuff like that, they got a love for their vehicle, and they think that these are the perfect vehicles. And sometimes you're like, I'm sorry, you said you had Hotchkiss suspension on it, and it comes to find out it's the off-brand, and they didn't know that, or they did, and they're just trying to pass it along. And that brought me to another one. I forgot to say, we do pre-purchase inspections as well.
Okay, cool.
Somebody calls us and says, hey, I need you to go look at this vehicle to tell me if it's a number matching Corvette. We will literally get under the car. I mean, I have a Snake camera that we turn around, and I can go up there and I can look at transmission numbers, or we can look at block numbers or anything like that, and again, they're detailed reports.
That's amazing. Yeah, especially if you're looking for something classic, right? To make sure it's a numbers matching vehicle, you're going to want someone that knows their stuff. That's where
right.
you guys come into
There's
play.
a lot of people out there trying to scam other people, and saying, hey, I got a numbers matching, and come to find out it's not, or hey, this thing is in pristine condition, or you find out the gaps are wrong, or they used inferior metals or anything like that. I mean, like I said, I would say some of these guys said that they do a 100-point inspection, and I would be willing to bet ours is probably close to a 250-point inspection when we do stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. No, that's amazing.
He was saying on the pre-purchase, we'll go in and we'll physically drive the vehicle. I usually ask the person I go to see, so I'll get a phone call, say from somebody from New York, hey, I want you to go check out this vehicle. Okay. And I'll go in and I'll tell the owner, hey, I want you to drive, but I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. Hey, go down the road here, hit the brakes. Hey, turn left, let the wheel go, see if it straightens up. Hey, does it drive straight?
Yep.
You check the horn, the windshield wipers, the air conditioner, the heater, the brake lights, the reverse lights. You check everything out to make sure, because we're putting our name on it. Hey, look, this car is this.
That's right.
Or, hey,
sure.
here's some issues with the car. So when I call my customer back, I'll tell them, hey, look, I found this and this and that and this wrong with it. But yeah, it may be, it is a matching numbers car. But, you let them know of the things that are wrong with it also. Because then they have some negotiating power to negotiate with the owner. And, good and bad. But, I mean,
Right.
I'm there for the customer. I'm not there for the owner.
Correct.
For sure. Yeah, and they
So
know
when
what they're looking at then.
Yep. And what I do is I'll usually take a video and I'll send that video to the customer, be like, hey, this is what your car sounds like. And I'll do a complete 360. I'll even do it while we're in the car while they're driving. That way they can see, okay, it shifts like this, or, it brakes like this, or the gauges read this, and they're not just like, oh, I'm taking his word for it, and then, something like that. So again, the whole above and beyond. And, I like to, how's that saying go? Under promise and over provide, or is that what it is?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, but like I said, and that's what gets them calling back and being like, hey, or referring us out.
For sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
I just want to take a step back there, because you mentioned that you take 360 videos of it driving and whatnot. And now, Eric, back to your drone that you have. Is that something that you're seeing more and more come into the industry? Is people taking more of a video, or even more of like a scanned photo of the vehicles? Have you guys seen anything like that?
I haven't. I was just thinking, I got my drone. I can set it up where it'll fly autonomously, and it'll fly and follow me as I'm walking. I can set it up to follow a car. I can set it, you set it up and you click on the screen. You can open it up, kind of like, your two finger on your phone, and I can set it up to set a certain thing, and it'll follow just that one thing. And it'll fly and follow and record while I'm doing stuff. And I think it's just something neat. It may be something that we could start entertaining more often. My niche is car, so I've been going to car meets and car get-togethers and stuff. And I'll ask people who's running it, hey, do you mind if I fly my drone? And I'll show them I got my FAA certification, and I'm I can fly above the crowd, because you gotta have certified certification to fly above people. And you got to have a drone that's capable of doing that and not coming down. It may come down. What goes up comes down. So, but I have the insurance for all that as well. So, they'll tell me yes or no. So most people are, yeah, we would like some media coverage.
For sure. Are you guys seeing any other trends in the industry? Like, you're using a drone, making things new, taking new style videos. Is there any other trends that you're seeing within the appraisal industry?
Well, on the other side, the insurance side, I am seeing a lot of AI estimates now. So, they're taking basically they're having their customer take their photos for them, and then they're generating it off the AI stuff. And, we're going to go back to, again, those are just machines, and they can't go in there and say what you have for damage or anything like that. So if you're on a total loss vehicle and they're coming up and they're like, oh yeah, I saw a dent in this quarter panel, and then come to find out it was a shadow. In fact, I'm dealing with one of those right now where it was an AI generated estimate, and our estimates are almost $5,000 difference. And that's a big difference between a total loss vehicle and a not total loss vehicle.
For sure. Yeah. No, AI is the word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually what I do with my customers is once I get my report all done, I'll call them and say, look, here's what I'm putting in my report. You had this and that and this and this and this and this and that. Did I miss anything? He goes, no, you got it pretty much covered. And that's when I go back and I look at each picture that I've taken and, oh, I forgot that. Let me add that in. So, we go back. Like you said, my reports I don't think I've ever had a 35-minute one. Mine's just a couple hours, but, David's been doing it longer.
He's a little more efficient.
I just want to make sure I cover all my bases. And then after I've submitted it and I go back and I look again, I'm like, I missed this. But it was something small. So to answer your questions, ours is pretty in-depth. Pretty in-depth.
For sure.
Right?
I'm lucky enough. I have my wife that works with me also. So, when she's taking pictures or I'm taking pictures, somebody can be writing notes. So, we can turn around and be like, okay, it has this or this. And, when I first started doing this by myself, my reports were taking a lot longer. And then, like I said, the more proficient I got and the stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, it's just, the other thing is I have two sets of eyes when I do that kind of thing also. My wife can be like, oh, I saw this. I'm like, oh, okay. Then we'll go find a picture and be like, oh, okay. She's really, really good at taking a lot of my pictures. And like I said, I'll do a lot of my handwritten report, and then I'll just transfer it over to the computer when we get back. So
nice. It's nice to have a team on another set of eyes because especially I was a tech as well. And I could go to truck shows because I worked on transport trucks. I could pick out kind of most things on trucks, but my boss went to the same show and saw way more than I saw. So it all depends on the eye too, right?
Yep, that's right.
You're always learning.
Yeah, exactly. And here in Ontario, if a car is over 20 years old, you need to get it appraised before you can put it on the road. Is there any rules of that in any states over there? Or down there, I guess?
I'm not sure about North Carolina. North Carolina, we do have some rules here that if you were to redo your car and you were to take your VIN number off and not put it back on with the proper, rivets and stuff,
VIN-TIG?
They need to have an appraisal because now they're saying that the car might not be legitimate. We don't have ones that say, in order to register it, we have to do this, but there are a couple different rules that we have here in North Carolina that's the big one though, is the VIN verification.
In Texas, you have to get an inspection every year, and they would check everything. I mean, in Texas, you have to have windshield wipers, but you don't have to have a front windshield. I was like, well, how does that work? You got to have wiper blades, but you don't have to have a front windshield. I go, yeah, that just blows my mind. But this now they just got rid of it, so now you don't have to get an inspection no more. I'm kind of afraid to drive. I'm not bragging, but I got a '93 Toyota Supra, kind of like the one in the Fast and Furious. We appraised it. It appraised really high. I'm afraid to drive it because some yahoo's going to go to the junkyard, pull some car out of there, put it back on the road, and it may not be roadworthy, and he crashes into me. Well, then what do you do? Now I got it baffles me that they've done that, got away from a yearly inspection. I mean, it was what? I think it was $35. You can't afford $35, but you can go to the junkyard and get a car and pull it out.
Yeah,
or some junk that's been on jack stands for 5, 6, 7 years, and you look at the bottom of the jack stands, and they're about to rust and fall, and you can drive it on the road. That scares me.
Yeah, no, it's that's how we're similar to that in Ontario, right? Like you need to get it safetied once, registered once, and then you're good. But that's just how it's always been.
Up all right, y'all got all that snow and they put all the salt down. Well, that just tears up a vehicle. I would hate to see some of the cars up that way.
Oh, I'm from New England, and they can rot out really quick.
Still driving. That scares me.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. What are some of the goals that you guys have for the next few years? Like, where do you guys want to take your little company that you guys are building right now?
Well, of course, to answer that question, like I said, I just got started doing this, so I'm still getting familiar with everything. But I mean, we do great. You know, like last month, I think I did 9 appraisals in 1 month, and the month before that, I did 10. Yeah. This month, I think I've done 3. You know, I think a lot of that has to do with all the flooding and you know, all over the country, all this flooding's happening, and volcanoes are erupting. You know, people are like, I can wait. You know, they're going to hold on to our money. You know, car can sit in the garage. So I think a lot of that is just because of the natural phenomenons that are going on.
Yeah. So
it's hit or miss each month. You know, and I don't rely on this appraisal thing. And that's why I started doing the drones. I can fly the drones. And like I said, you know, when I come back from Sicily, I'm going to start the medical stuff. So, I mean, there's always going to be medical stuff going on. Everybody's going to have to go see a doctor eventually. So I'm trying to widen my horizon and not just be stuck in one field. I'm not saying stuck, but, you know, be able to do more than one thing. And I guess I'm semi-retired. You know, everything I own is paid off, so I'm not sweating it. But, you know, I sat at home for like 7 months, and I was like, this is boring. Everybody else at work. You know, I call people, hey, I'm at work. Hey, I'm at work. Okay. So I had to find something to keep occupied.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. You get to look at old cars, and you get to drive old cars the odd time, and
get
fly
paid
a drone.
for
What's better? What's worse than that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I say that every day is a car show. I love it. My goals, honestly, my goals is to probably expand. You know, I want to make this where this is all I do, and like I said, every day is a car show. My goal is to either open more franchises through Auto Appraisers Network, or if that's not feasible, figure a way to go out on our own and do our own stuff. Like I said, me and my wife are a great team, and you know, like I said, I would love to be able to bring people in and either help them, teach them how to do this, as far as that goes, or like I said, be able to bring people under our wing and our under our collar, so we can help them do the same thing.
For sure.
I don't know
if I
can deal with that one down there.
What are some of the challenges that are holding you back there, David, from hitting the franchise or branching off doing your own thing?
So some of the challenges really are, as Eric just said, a lot of it has to do with like the volume and stuff like that. You know, in this world, it's like a feast or famine. You know, I mean, like he said, you know, I think I did. I think the biggest month we had, we looked at 13 cars. But a month and a half ago, I didn't look at any. So, you know, you're trying to make sure that you, especially if I franchise out, I want to make sure that I've always been a business owner that says, you know, my employees will come first. So if it's one of those things where, you know, I have another franchise out there, I want to make sure that they're able to be able to support themselves and do this job properly, and not have to worry about them being like, oh, well, I didn't do anything last month. So, you know, so that's probably my biggest challenge is making sure that I have enough volume out there to provide more.
For sure. Totally. Yeah, that makes sense, right? You got to keep yourself busy before you start expanding, and bring other people on, because you want to make sure you can withstand them as well.
Correct.
For sure. If you guys could go back to, you were a business owner, David. Eric, you were a business owner as well, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when you guys could go back to when you started a business, whether it be whatever field you guys were in, what advice would you give yourself to an entrepreneur now coming into the space and into any space, into the entrepreneurial space?
Well, to answer that, I'm still the business owner in the shop. I'm just a silent partner. I gave it to my nephew, and he took it off and just started running with it. You know, same thing. He's old enough. Hey, let's go out in the garage. You know, he's out there tinkering with stuff. I'd show him something. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. So I'd show him how to do it. So there's things he knows how to do, but he's mainly in the office running things. And then his wife is in the front office. He's in the back, and I still get. I think it's right now. I think I get 15% of the whole business at the end of the month, and I don't want a lot of it because I gave it to him. I want to keep this running, and I want to keep it in the family. I just don't want to sell it and get the money and run off. So
For sure.
if I ever needed to, I could go back there and help out. I could do little things here and there, but I don't want to be involved with it. I've let him take it and run with it. So that's basically with me. I could still go back and do that business, but I want to move forward. I don't want to go back in life.
But to answer your question, Carson, I think the biggest advice I'd go back and give myself would be that I can't please everybody all the time.
Absolutely.
And then the biggest, or the next one would be, everybody says, "Oh, you're a business owner. You must be rich." Well, it comes with time. You're not going to get rich overnight, and you need to have patience, and you need to have the drive to go do that. If you don't have your own drive and you let somebody else tell you how to run your business, you'll never ever succeed.
For sure, you got to be your own boss, right? You're there 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week running that company, and all eyes are on you, right? You got to make shit happen. You got to make shit work. And if you don't take that initiative, it's not going to happen.
And that's what I said earlier. You turn around and some of these other guys are like, I have a 9-to-5 job. Well, good for you. And I'm like, well, you get to make your own hours. Well, I do get to make my own hours, but that comes with consequences. Like I said, there are people that call you at 11 o'clock at night. There are people that call you at 6 in the morning. They'll call you Saturdays. They'll call you Sundays. I want to go racing or something like that. I'm like, oh, I can't do this right now because I have to go look at a car because this is the only day I can do this. So the sacrifices that we do as business owners is sometimes far greater than being what I would like to say self-rich or whatever these guys want to call you when you say that. And you're just like, I might be, well off as far as my appraisals go, and I make more than some, but it's not always, fun and games and everything like that. There are times, not only am I my own business owner, but I'm my own bookkeeper, I'm my own media person. I'm, social media, everything, I wear multiple hats in this business. So it's not for the faint of heart to be your own business owner.
For sure. And do you guys call your company, like you have to run it under the network as well? Or can you guys kind of make it your own hat if you wanted to?
So it technically, when we buy the franchise, well, in my case, Eric is still under one of the other guys there. Okay. I used Auto Appraisal Network, but I'm Auto Appraisal Network Charlotte. So it's basically under my own business. I have my own insurance. I'm a 1099, employee or whatever you want to call us. Basically, the only thing I have Auto Appraiser Network for is brand recognition and to help us with our reports and stuff like that. Like I said, especially starting out, I have started out companies, by myself without any help from anybody. And I feel that brand recognition through Auto Appraisers Network has been a huge success for me. I have failed at companies and stuff like that because, it wasn't a nationally recognized company, whereas Auto Appraisers Network is. You can Google it anywhere in the world, and you can find Auto Appraisers Network. So I feel that that's a big help to me, doing it that way.
For sure. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to join me for this discussion. Do you guys have any insights you want to get out before we end the podcast, or anything you want to say to the audience?
If you're looking for any type of appraisal, call Auto Appraisers Network. I think we're in. I think right now we're in 26 states. Like I said, we provide the most professional and the most accurate appraisals in the country right now. And we actually, I think we have some overseas, but don't quote me on that one. But like I said, the most accurate and most professional appraisals in the country. And you can give us a call at, if you're in the Charlotte area, we're at 704-420-0993. And you'll get to speak right to me. I don't have an answering service or anything like that. Like I said, I wear multiple hats.
If you're in the Houston area, you can reach me at 713-423-4653.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'd like to get in contact with you guys again. Eric, once you take the hat of the company and start moving things forward with it, and David, once you franchise out and really bring things into perspective for the company.
Thank you again, Carson, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
No worries.